Welcome to the second part of the Alien Tabletop Miniature Series. I'm not going to labour the painting too much with this. I'll just talk through some of my colour choices as the video progresses and a very brief look at some of the techniques. Most of them you'll have seen already previously, either in other videos or the other Alien video that we've just done there with the Xenomorphs. Probably one interesting note is Ripley. The colour choice of her boiler suit, if you like, or flight suit, whatever it is she's wearing. Whilst I was watching a rerun of the show, or the movie, I did notice that it was very similar, that kind of blue-grey colour, to the ILM Stormy Sea that Archive X makes. It's the colour of the TIE Fighters from the Star Wars movies, and it just seems to fit perfectly. It went in for a light grey colour on the boots, and I'm going to add some wee red flashes, as can be seen in the movie as well. I believe the boots were actually made by Reebok, or certainly branded as Reebok in the film, so I thought that would be quite a nice touch. Went for a nice dark brown on the leather jacket that she wears in the film, and we've added a light olive colour from Archive X as well. Just on the pulse rifle, I need to do the rest of the parts in black, because it was the pulse rifle had that sort of two-tone military effect, which was pretty cool. I've also managed to do Gorman. I'm quite pleased with how he's turned out. Went for a nice sort of military green for his fatigues. In the movie he does wear black boots, I did notice that, but I really think the brown belt, the holster and the boots all just tie in quite nicely. Whilst not entirely screen accurate, it does give a really nice look. And really that's as far as I've got. I've laid down some base skin tones for Vasquez and Frost. I don't want everybody to be absolutely identical the same, because not everybody's skin tone is, so there's going to be variations in skin tones, just to add a bit more variation to the models as well, and be a bit more reflective of diversity in life. So that's where we're at so far, and we'll move on and carry on in the next part of the video. Right, so we're back, everything's painted, all done, completed. Only things left to do is a wee bit of metallic accenting on some of the weapons. Frost, for example, so he's carrying a flamethrower, so I want the front barrel of that to be silver, and I'll try and replicate a wee bit of that bluing effect that you get from metals exposed to high heat. It's quite small, so you won't really see it too much, but it's a nice effect. The shotgun that Hicks is carrying, again, just a wee bit of metallic accent here and there. The two pulse rifles that Hudson and Ripley are carrying, yep, a wee bit on there. Definitely on Vasquez's big super cannon, whatever the hell that thing is, it's huge. So the big heavy weapon, yep, definitely some going on there. And also some of the, I don't know if you can see it or not, but so you can see here there's like an arm that supports it on our body armour, supposed to support the weight of the weapon and allows it to manoeuvre it and target and stuff. So get some metallic paint onto that as well. I'll use a similar technique that I've used on the bases of the Xenomorphs, and that will be used on these as well, where I will just sort of dry brush on and build up the colour. So there's plenty of black, there's a lot of recesses in there, so I want to keep the black shining through there, or sort of showing through, and then just sort of gently build up the colour. We don't want it to be really bright shiny metal, we want it to be quite dull and oily and greasy looking, so we'll do that. And I think that's about it, and obviously just the bases to do. Very briefly, just talk through some of my colour choices here. So as I said to you before about Ripley's flight suit that she wears, so that's ILM Stormy Sea Grey. As I said the earlier part of the video, that was the colours that, or the colour that Eileen used to paint TIE fighters in the Star Wars movies. I noticed there was a big similarity to that colour, as you know, what she wore in the movie. The Reeboks, and definitely wear Reeboks. I had a wee look at them online, and so it's like the tongue part and a little flash around the back. So I've managed to do that, and then a slightly darker grey on the little Velcro straps, the fasteners. The leather jacket was a Citadel colour, Catachan Flesh I think it's called. Incidentally, it's the same colour I used for Frost's skin tone. I was able to darken his skin tone down a bit more using a mix of brown and black. There's a wash in there. I did actually use that at points in Ripley's jacket just to create some shadows, and then lightened it up with, I think, Steel Legion Drab, which is another colour from Citadel. Darkened down the olive section on the pulse rifle for both her and your man Hudson. You can see that. And then, so I darkened that down with a green wash. So the kind of camel, sort of olivey green wash from Citadel as well. Young Newt, her hair was a mix of a kind of browny grey colour, or a warm grey certainly, from Archive X, was called Concrete, and I mixed that up with some Ushabti Bone, which is a Citadel colour. It's a kind of pale beige colour, quite creamy white, I suppose is probably the best way to describe it. So used that for her hair, and actually also her clothes, or her t-shirt certainly, and the Stormy Sea Grey was also used for her dungarees. Now, she looks quite dirty, and the colour slightly varies because I used several washes, again brown and black mixed up, and lightened slightly with a grey, a really light grey wash, and it was just really to replicate that kind of dirty grubby look that she had in the film. I didn't apply the same wash to her hair. I used, I think it was just a brown wash I used in her hair, and then some highlights with the original colour, and then the Ushabti Bone just on top of that, very lightly dry brushed. So it does look her hair does look slightly different from her clothes, but actually the base colours were both the same. I want to move on now and talk about the actual Marines. So in the film, they wear camouflage. I had a look at that, or the reference pictures, and I considered trying to replicate that. I had the colours that would have done it. I personally feel at this scale, I think it might be a bit too much visually. I felt that it would, I don't know, just make it look a bit too busy, in my opinion. And I had a chat with the client, who's obviously commissioned these to be painted, and he was happy with that choice. So what I done, I actually, oddly enough, I used the same colour that was on Newt's t-shirt and hair for the trousers, and Frost is wearing a jacket as well. The other guys are just bare arm, as you can see. So I used the same colour again, and then I used a mix of brown and green as a wash, and just built that up to change the tone again, and then just a nice light highlight, that kind of beige colour again, just to pick out the creases and give a bit of variation. The armour itself was painted by a very interesting colour that I really like, from Archive X. I'll try to find it, where the hell is it? And it's there. Features on the Slave 1 model, 1975 GN green, grey green. It's hard to even see on the camera because it actually looks slightly different on the camera from what I can see. it's a really interesting colour, very military, and I was able to darken that down again just by applying the green, the same wash that was on their trousers. So it was brown and green mixed together, and that just gave us a slightly darker tone again. Again, if you look at the armour, or the stills of the armour, shots from prop forums, etc., there is a camouflage pattern painted on that. There's also some messages that the guys have obviously wrote on their own armour as well, a bit like the helmet from the front cover of Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket. You know, it's got peace written on it, so people write messages and things like that. Again, at that scale, I didn't want to go in and try and replicate that and create too many visual distractions. So the highlight on the armour this time was another Citadel colour. It's called Death Guard Green. Again, another sort of olivey military looking colour. It just seemed to work well with the armour choices, or the colour choices for the armour, and that's pretty much it. The only other difference we've got from all the characters, Vasquez, she's got a little red bandana on, so that was whatever red I had to hand. It was caboose red, which was an Archive X colour, and a couple of wee white dots just to replicate the pattern of the bandana that she's got around her head. That's pretty much it. That was the main colour choices. The leather pouches and the stuff that the guys on the belts that they're all carrying were Steel Legion drab, just with the same sort of washes applied over the top of them, and some parts just highlighted and distressed a wee bit. So there we go. That's pretty much it. This hasn't been filmed in at my bench as usual. Just I've got a wee table that I work at in the house sometimes. Just that's what time's allowed for on this occasion. So I've just been doing bits and pieces at night time rather than being out in the garage. So that's then pretty much finished. All that was left to do is paint up the bases, and that they'll just be exactly the same as the xenomorphs. A light build up of dark silver colour that I was using, the dark gunmetal. It was metallic black from Vallejo, and then the silvery steel colour, just building up a bit of highlight on there. Some rusting effects applied using whatever rust colours I decide to use and create some unique patterns. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the name. So each character's name, the paint's still wet on some of that, you can see. Each character's name is on the base, which is missing from the xenomorphs. I've not quite decided how I want to highlight that. Am I just going to leave it silver, or am I going to apply a colour? I was thinking possibly a nice light blue colour on there, because it matches the titles of the movie, the colour scheme of the artwork and stuff. So that's a possibility. I don't know, I'll see. I'll maybe try and experiment on one and we'll see how it turns out, and I'll just touch on that very briefly at the end of this video. So see you in the next segment. Cheers. So we're on the last segment of this video, and as you can see, they are all completed. That's the Marines all done. The only thing, as I said, left to do was just the flooring and the rims and stuff. So I've done all that, and I'd talked about earlier in the video about potentially maybe adding some sort of colour, or I was certainly thinking about it. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I was certainly thinking about adding some sort of colour to the names that are on these. You can see obviously this is Ripley here. I decided against it. Sorry, I'm eating a causeway. I decided against it. The reason being is I didn't want the look to come away from the model. I didn't want people's eyes drawn away too much. I mean, I know there's a bit of colour on about the bottom of the base with the wasp stripe and stuff, but it seems to sort of tie in, contrast a wee bit, but I just didn't want more colour in there. I felt keeping it more in the colours with the base, you know, the silvers and stuff, I thought that was just the right way to go. If my client doesn't agree, then that's easy enough fixed. We can do something. We can maybe add a wee bit of colour on it there, but I really think that would be the best approach. Anyway, so I'm tying this video up now. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I know it wasn't really quite the same painting tutorial as the other one was, but just time and circumstances didn't quite allow for it. One last thing I actually want to touch on just before we finish up is I don't know how well that can be seen there, but I managed to just add just a wee slight touch of blue ink to the end of that flamethrower there, just to give it that sort of heat stressed look that you would get from metals and that have been exposed to high heat, high temperatures. So anyway, that was just one of the wee effects. It's not really a great scale to really look at that, you know. If you see some of the bigger scale models you get in Warhammer, you can do some cracking effects, or even sort of afterburners on fighter jets and stuff. You can really make that effect look really smart, but at this scale it's hard to really do. So we've kind of added a wee suggestion in there, and it certainly looks the part. I don't know how well the camera's picking that up, but anyway. So any questions, any comments, stick them down below. If you want to get in touch, then please feel free. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and you can contact me here on YouTube as well. Anyway, thanks for watching, and move out. Catch you in a bit.
We're a team, and there's nothing to worry about. We come here, and we're going to conquer, and we're going to take some. Is that understood? Yes, sir. That's what we're going to do, sweethearts. We are going to go and get some. All right, people, on the ready line. Are you me? Yeah! Are you me? Yeah! What are you? What are you? Hudson! Get on the ready line, Marine! Get something to die! Get on the ready line! Yo! Move it out! Move it out, goddammit! Get hot! 1, 2, 3! Oh, get out! Get out! Get out! Move it 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 out! 1, 2, 3! Absolutely badasses! Let's pack them in!